Welcome into a Friday edition of Hittin Hard with Jon Chuckery. Today on the show, Tony Ressler said exactly what we Hawks fans have been thinking. Tori McElhaney is going to join me. We'll talk to our friend of the show from AtlantaFalcons.com. And Sergio said he can't wait to get off the tour. Let me tell you, I can't wait for Sergio to get off the tour. It's all next. It's Hittin Hard with Jon Chuckery on Locked On Sports Atlanta.
This is Hittin' Hard with Jon Chuckery, part of Locked On Sports Atlanta. And it starts now.
We welcome you to another edition of Hittin Hard with Jon Chuckery here on Locked On Sports Atlanta. We're asking you to head over to youtube.com. Put in your browser Locked On Sports Atlanta. Find the page. Subscribe to it. Growing every day. Leave us a comment. Tell us what you think about the show. Give us a review. We appreciate all of those. And, of course, give me a follow on my personal Twitter page at JMCH316. Well, I've been waiting for this. Yesterday, Tony Ressler, the owner of the Atlanta Hawks, the majority owner of the Atlanta Hawks, spoke to the media yesterday. And I've been very interested in hearing what he had to say because, to me, he obviously holds all the cards about sort of the direction of where the franchise is going to go. Does Nate stay or go? Does Schlenk stay or go? Will they spend a lot? This, that, and the other. I thought we got a lot of good answers yesterday. So, for instance, Tony Ressler talked about, hey, we're willing to go on the luxury tax. We will do whatever it takes. We'll spend the money we have to spend, but we are not afraid to go into the luxury tax. That's a good thing because even just bringing back everybody would tip them over a little bit into the luxury tax. But obviously, we want to add a star player, free agency, trade, whatever. To do that, you're talking about a big money guy that even if you trade, you're going to get yourself into the luxury tax. So I thought that was an important component that he put to bed any worries or concerns about, are we afraid to spend money, this, that, and the other? Nope. Because, see, we all know that pendulum has to swing back toward Eastern Conference Finals versus first-round series knockout and barely got in to the playoffs. So you need another star player. We talked about yesterday, we had some fun with Kyrie Irving. I don't care really what the name is on the back of the jersey. Well, I do sort of care, but I don't care too much about what the name is on the back of the jersey. But the idea of bringing another star, it's going to cost you money, and it's going to cost you something. You have to be willing to start getting into luxury tax. Well, most of the time, an owner only wants to get into luxury tax if they think that they're about to make a big move, if they think they can push this thing toward an NBA title or serious contention for that. So I was really glad to hear about it. The other thing that Tony Ressler said is he said something that we all knew, we all felt, we all thought, and that is last season was a disappointment. Travis Schlenk didn't do a great job. Nate McMillan didn't do a great job. He took acknowledgement that he didn't do a great job, right? And he said that all the way around, this was a disappointing season. We all felt that. We all understood and felt that. The other thing that I thought that he said that was very interesting was that guys will understand moving forward that every game matters and that the regular season isn't just a throwaway. Well, guess who that was directed at? That was directed fully at his superstar player that he just put a crap ton of money in, that if he gets all NBA is going to have another $34 million added into it. That's not a knock against Trey, though. Okay, understand it's not a knock against Trae Young to mention that. But Tony Ressler said, because you can't have your star or anybody coming out and talking about we're bored with the regular season. It doesn't matter. We're just trying to get – you can't have that because you saw the infinite struggle the Hawks had, and you had to win 2 play-in games, and then you went on the road to Miami, and your first game was literally – a throwaway game for the league that you had pretty much no chance of winning. Quick turnaround, multiple road, just wasn't going to happen. And you were behind the 8 ball all series long in that, and Hawks lost in 5 games. I mean, that series was not nearly as competitive as what it may have seemed like out there. And Trey didn't play well and all that kind of stuff. But that regular season talk earlier in the year, that quote kind of lingered. And Tony Ressler, while he didn't say Trae Young in that specific quote, he said guys will take the regular season more serious and they won't think about it as a throwaway. The other thing that I thought too, when you talk about what Ressler said, was his message was exactly in lockstep with what Travis Schlenk said on a couple of different fronts. Number one is we shouldn't have just run it back. We shouldn't have just stood pat. We shouldn't have just rolled the same team back out there. In hindsight, we should have made some changes. Now, the reason that I bring up the Travis Schlenk component is Travis Schlenk on the morning show on the radio station that I work for, 92.9 The Game, he brought up the idea that he said the same exact thing. They shouldn't have rolled it back, run it back, all this kind of stuff. Why that's important? Because if the GM and owner are on the same message, then most likely there's not going to be any changes. You're going to bring Schlenk back. You're going to bring Nate McMillan back. And I'm not saying that that wasn't going to happen anyway. But my point is, why I've been waiting for Tony Ressler to speak and get out in front of the media is I wanted to see if he would panic or not. If he felt like he had to push the panic button now and make some sort of drastic change. Coach, GM, whatever. Say, whoa. Last year was so bad. We 2 years ago we were in the, now we're this, that, because there are owners in professional sports that first sign of trouble, they hit the panic button. And I was glad that Tony Ressler didn't do that. And him having the same message that Travis Schlenk had a week or two ago tells me that, okay, everybody's on the same page. Everybody knows what needs to be done. And again, there will be changes to the roster. And I do believe that there will be at least one big change to the roster. Again, whatever you want to talk about, back of the jersey name and this, that, and the other. We'll have fun as we move along talking about all the different possibilities and stuff like that, right? But I do want you in the audience, I want you to open your mind. I want you to broaden your horizons about who and what and how and things like that. Don't get locked into the same 3, 4, 5 players. Think bigger picture. Think broader sense. Because a lot of those guys that you like, 3, 4, 5 players, they may not be realistic targets. I saw yesterday where the kid that, for the LA Clippers, it's a really good two-way player. Some people thought that he may be a good addition for the Atlanta Hawks. Bring him here, a good offensive and defensive player. He signed back a 2-year deal with the Clippers. Now, it's only a 2-year deal, but still he signed back up with the Clippers. So some of those guys, like Zach LaVine, for instance, Chicago has the bird rights to him. So it's not going to be easy to pry him away from a franchise in Chicago that if they want him, they can give him more than anybody can. So I was really happy to hear what Tony Ressler had to say. And I think if you're a Hawks fan, you have to be excited and you have to feel better about Ressler's comments. Because I thought it was very open. I thought it was very honest. And he usually is. I've had a chance to talk to Tony Ressler before. I found him to be a very honest person. I was glad that he said what he did. And I was glad that he got in front of the Atlanta media in a pretty quick sense. And I think he addressed the issues of salary cap and luxury tax, which is important. He addressed the disappointment of last year. He addressed the we're not going to take the regular season for granted aspect. And he also talked about how it was a mistake to run it back and do not change, and that we need to make changes. And his comment was, hey, every team in the league, and I literally said this on this show, every team in the league wants to add a superstar. We should be in that business as well. Good stuff from Tony Ressler yesterday. If you're a Hawks fan, I feel like we're going to be in good shape and we're going to make some big moves. All right. We got more to go on Hittin' Hard with Jon Chuckery here on Locked On Sports Atlanta. We'll be back.